Hello, all. So, I want to discuss a very important concept about movement and anticipation. And I want to just address one issue, which is why are my videos so boring? Now, I know they're boring, okay? And if anybody does find interest in them, then that's amazing. I described this once before, but these videos have a very distinct purpose, and I'm going to go into that with a little more detail just real quick here. The concepts that I'm dealing with on these videos are fairly high level concepts that very few people really delve into, and they're designed for students that have trained for many years primarily, particularly my students who obviously have some understanding about a lot of the information. But with that said, if you're going to get better in the martial arts, you're going to have to do things that are unpleasant and boring. I'd say that as somebody who has been practicing for over 50 years now, closer to 55 actually, not quite, well, about 50 years. No, I'm sorry, 45 years. Sorry, 45 years. 47 technically. So I want people to get better. I don't care what people think about how I look. And I do have hair, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. I like the cap. It keeps the hair out of my eyes. And I do get a haircut once in a while. I do. I am looking for the very few people who can see the value in these videos more than I care about the general consensus. So you happen upon these videos and you notice, does this guy really know how boring this stuff is? Yeah, I do. I will actually be doing videos for a more general audience in the future. It's simply a matter of getting some help from people. You have to know how to fall and how to have a little bit of training to do a lot of the things that are required to demo some of the stuff I'm talking about. I'm actually very careful, even with my own family who trained for a while but haven't trained for an exceptionally long period of time. My sons both have training, and I have a video with my son, and again, even then I'm being very careful because you got to train this art for about 5 years and really understand what it's like to fall and things of that nature properly. I used to have incredible falling skills, ukemi skills, before I was crippled. But when I started, I sounded like an elephant. So it's a process, okay? And I'll tell you the story to illustrate the point, and then we'll go on to our topic du jour. I had trained for many years at a point, and I was very good. And I was part of a system, and I met a teacher that I thought was absolutely exceptional. And he was also a very honest, decent fellow. So he basically appreciated me being good, and he took me aside after about a week and he said, okay, you can come into class for a while here, and we could do this 3 ways. You could just do your thing, blend in when you want. You're really good, and help a few people out. Just obviously don't contradict what I'm doing. I could give you some training and stuff, sort of give you some ideas of what we're doing, my approach. Or I could take you apart piece by piece and put you back together the way that I do things. And I think everybody ought to appreciate this. When somebody who's really good gives you that opportunity, you say, take me apart, man. So for the next few years of training, I don't think I ever had a class I truly enjoyed, okay? And it was meticulous. It consisted of almost exclusively having to pull all the bad habits that I had acquired over many years of training. Okay? So there's a couple of morals to the story that I'm going to share with you. Okay? I want you to keep that point in mind. He didn't even teach me much of anything new. Okay? He simply took all the garbage habits that I had developed and got rid of them. And the result was, when I started to really interact again, I had to watch myself. I broke one guy's ribs, really big guy, bigger than me. I should be about 250. I'm about 290 right now. Broke his ribs, shattered his whole rib cage with a light tap. No, I did not mean I was not being aggressive with him. It was totally an accident, and I will always feel bad for that. He was a good sport about it. I was throwing people around with no effort. I had incredible skills. Okay? So that's the first moral of the story. Okay? I really got better, even though I didn't enjoy the process. And for you guys starting out, enjoy the process a few years. I'm not telling you to go directly into this kind of a situation. But when you're serious about your training, and if you really just want to get better, you don't want to necessarily look like you're better. Okay? You don't want to have to be the tough guy or whatever the case may be. If you just want to be really good, these are the kind of things you have to do. I fought a lot also, and that's important because you do learn some things that way. The second thing is, what can I do for you so you don't have to go through what I did, okay? As far as the fighting goes, you got to do that. Just while you're young, mix it up, bang it up. Don't even do martial arts. Get used to the idea of conflict and smacking each other around, throwing each other around, banging around with each other. Get tough, get strong, and get able. Take some time doing that. But when you start to get into the interim of your martial arts experiences about 5 years in, these videos are for you, because the things that I'm doing are basically designed to really take all the bad habits that people develop, okay, out, and to give you a set of crystal clean dynamics, okay? So that when you practice whatever you practice, or if you practice the things how I show you to practice them, you develop proper body dynamics and control, and you don't go into a situation where you reach your limit as to the point where you can get in a ring and bang it up. Okay, that's not really even being a martial artist at a certain point. Okay, that's intermediate level skill. I can fight, yeah, I can beat people up. When you really get into these arts, they're tactical. Okay, they apply to weapons, they apply to life, they apply to the ability to function under very trying circumstances and have the right responsiveness in your body. Okay, it's a lifelong pursuit. Okay, so this channel is to try to spare others the horrible reality of all these little horrible bad habits we pick up when we start training carelessly. And it's not, I don't mean that as it sounds. I should kind of probably qualify that. I like to use words very carefully. But it is carelessness, and it's part of the process. So when you get to a certain point, you have to jump off that boat, and sooner than later. I'll tell people about 5 years in, if you don't, and you really do have, most people don't give a shit. They'll never get better anyway, and the level they reach is their physical ability. But if you really want to be a martial artist and develop past that point, you've got to be sensitive to that stage that comes up. I'll be issuing this warning now and then. I guess we'll confine that to this topic, and I'll use another video to illustrate the movement dynamic I wanted to talk about tonight. So, if you have the ability to understand some of these ideas and look at your own process, I would highly recommend that you heed some form of training to look and properly condition your body responsiveness and your even your psychological, psychokinetic, your, I would even call it spiritual, but your total level of awareness and understanding regarding your body, because martial arts is in the body. Masoyama famously said, train the body, the mind will follow. So there's a connection there, but it becomes carelessness after a certain point, and your body will break down. And I've healed myself with my art, okay? I'm still technically kind of crippled because of my injuries, but twice I had injuries that shouldn't have allowed me to really even walk properly or walk at all in the first case. And twice I've healed myself. I've also healed other medical maladies that I had, all through my art, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that I won't get a disease tomorrow, but I'm 60 years old. If I make it to 70, 75, that's all I want anyway, believe me. The point is, your art, you don't want it to start destroying you. And if you don't move past that physical level, that will happen to you, okay? You have to integrate that level into the next stages. All right, enough preaching from the choir. Okay? Good night, guys.